Edwin Abbott Abbott's dad and mom had been Jane Abbott and Edwin Abbott. His mom Jane was once a first cousin of his father, so each had the title of Abbott, which explains Edwin Abbott Abbott having Abbott as each a surname and a center name. Edwin Abbott was once headmaster of the Philological School at Marylebone. Abbott used to be trained at the City of London School, which had won a fantastic recognition beneath Dr. G.F.W. Mortimer, who was once headmaster all through the years for the duration of which he studied there. Following a satisfactory college education, Abbott entered St. John's College, Cambridge, in 1857. After an extraordinary educational profession, as an undergraduate he was once the senior classics medalist in 1861 and used to be elected to a fellowship at his university. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. In the following year, in the identical 12 months he was once ordained a deacon, and in 1863 he grew to be a priest. At this time college fellows have been no longer allowed to marry, so, when Abbott wished to marry Mary Elizabeth Rangeley from Unstone, Derbyshire, in 1863, he had to resign the fellowship. Edwin and Mary had one son and one daughter. After leaving Cambridge, Abbott taught at King Edward's School, Birmingham, and then at Clifton College. In 1865 he used to be appointed as headmaster of the City of London School on the retirement of his former headmaster Dr. Mortimer. It used to be a publish which Abbott held for 24 years till he retired in 1889. Of root, Abbott was once fairly younger when he retired, being solely 50 years old. He did no longer retire to provide up work. As a substitute he loved writing and retired so that he may want to dedicate greater time to his literary efforts. Before searching at some of the books which he published, we must first say a little about his first-rate traits as a trainer and as a headmaster, which noticed the already high-quality City of London School attain even greater requirements at some point of his years in cost. 1. His greatness as an educator derived partly from his organization of new techniques of instruction, partly from his initiation of many improvements in the faculty curriculum, and partly from what can solely be known as his genius for teaching. Having a reverence for bodily science now not frequently discovered amongst the classical students of his day, he made an basic understanding of chemistry obligatory for the duration of the higher school. He made many improvements to the curriculum taught at the faculty in addition to the sciences referred to in the above quote, and he transmitted his personal enthusiasm for literature, each English literature and classical literature, to scholars at the school. As a scholar, Abbott used to be very extensive, writing fantastic works on a vast range of topics. He posted Shakespearean Grammar, 1870, English Lessons for English People, 1871, and How to Write Clearly, 1872. He was once a main professional on Francis Bacon, posted First Baron Beaverbrook in Essex, 1877, and wrote an introduction to Bacon's Essays, 1886. Some of his works on textual criticism incorporate first-rate statistical analyses, for instance Johannine Vocabulary, 1905, and Johannine Grammar, 1906. Among Severa non-secular writings we point out Philocristus, 1878, Onesimus, Memoirs of a Disciple of Paul, 1882, and Silenus the Christian, 1906. Of Path we have now not but noted his most well-known work, and virtually the one which deserves his inclusion in this archive. This used to be Flatland, a romance of many dimensions, 1884, which Abbott wrote below the pseudonym of a square. The e-book has considered many editions, the sixth version of 1953 being reprinted by using Princeton University Press in 1991 with an introduction by using Thomas Banchoff. Flatland is an account of the adventures of a square in lineland and spaceland. In it, Abbott tries to popularize the concept of multidimensional geometry. However, the ebook is additionally a sensible satire on the social, moral, and non-secular values of the period. Here is Abbott's introduction to Flatland. I name our world Flatland, no longer due to the fact we name it so, however, to make its nature clearer to you, my pleased readers, who are privileged to stay in space. Imagine an extensive sheet of paper on which straight lines, triangles, squares, pentagons, hexagons, and different figures, rather of closing constant in their places, cross freely about, on, or in the surface, however barring the electricity of rising above or sinking under it, vary a whole lot like shadows, solely difficult with luminous edges, and you will then have an incredibly right idea of my United States and countrymen. Alas, a few years ago, I have to have stated, en quote, my universe en quote, however now my thought has been open to greater views of things. In such a country, you will identify it as soon as that it is not possible that there ought to be some thing of what you name a en quote, solid en quote, kind. However, I dare say you will believe that we may want to at least distinguish through sight the triangles, squares, and different figures, shifting about as I have described them. On the contrary, we may want to see nothing of the kind, now not at least so as to distinguish one parent from another. Nothing used to be visible, nor should be visible, to us, barring straight lines, and the necessity of this I will swiftly demonstrate. Place a penny on the center of one of your tables in space, and leaning over it, seem down upon it. It will show up a circle. But now, drawing return to the side of the table, progressively decrease your eye, thus bringing yourself greater and extra into the situation of the inhabitants of Flatland, and you will discover the penny turning into greater and greater oval to your view, and at ultimate when you have positioned your eye precisely on the area of the desk, so that you are, as it were, genuinely a Flatlander, the penny will then have ceased to show up oval at all, and will have become, so long way as you can see, a straight line. In Abbott's Flatland, the greater aspects you have then the greater is your class. Workers are equilateral triangles, the creator himself is a square, a man or woman of center class, whilst the very best lessons are the circles, who are priests. The Flatland world is visited with the aid of a sphere which a square sees at first as a dot which grows into a disk, then shrinks once more to a dot and vanishes. The sphere opens his eyes to the opportunity of a 0.33 dimension, and he suggests to the sphere that he may stay in a world with 4 or extra dimensions. However, the sphere makes enjoyable of this suggestion. When a square tells his fellow Flatlanders about the 0.33 dimension, they ridicule him, and subsequently he is put in jail, the place he writes the book. It is really worth noting that this terrific piece of writing through Abbott predated by using many years Einstein's four-dimensional world of relativity. Abbott wrote a preface which consists of the following: it is authentic that we have truly in Flatland a third unrecognized dimension known as height, simply as it additionally is authentic that you have virtually in Spaceland a fourth unrecognized dimension, referred to as by way of no identify at present, however, which I will name extra height. But we can no greater take cognizance of our height than you can of your extra height. Suppose a man or woman of the fourth dimension, condescending to go to you, had been to say, whenever you open your eyes, you see a plane, which is of 2 dimensions, and you infer a solid, which is of 3. However, in actuality you additionally see, though you do no longer recognize, a fourth. Dimension, which is now not shade nor brightness nor something of the kind, however a proper dimension, though I can't factor out to you its direction, nor can you perhaps measure it. What would you say to such a visitor? Would no longer you have him locked up? Well, that is my fate, and it is as herbal for us flatlanders to lock up a square for preaching the third dimension, as it is for you spacelanders to lock up a cube for preaching the fourth. Alas, how sturdy a household likeness runs via blind and persecuting humanity in all dimensions. Points, lines, squares, cubes, extra cubes, we are all in charge to the identical errors, all alike the slavers of our respective dimensional prejudices. More recently, in 2002, an annotated model, 2, of Flatland has been produced with an introduction and notes by way of Ian Stewart, who offers sizable dialogue of mathematical matters associated to passages in Abbott's text. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, share and subscribe. Like it.